everyone. Welcome to Seasoned and Smart. My name is Marge DiVigilio. I'm a program manager at Greater Lynn Senior Services. Today we have a guest with us. It's Mary Ann O'Connor. She's the Director of Health from the City of Lynn. Welcome.
Thank you, Marge.
Today we're going to talk about the flu. That's a horrible subject, but we need to let our audience know some information about the flu. We're also going to talk about the flu, preventing it, and just as important, how you take care of someone at home who has the flu. Please have a pencil and paper ready because we're going to be showing on the screen some information for you and where you can get the booklet, The Flu, What You Can Do. I think we're going to show a video also, and in the video they mention pandemic. Mary Ann, explain that to us because a lot of our audience is not familiar with that term.
Sure, right. The show we're about to watch is actually a part of a statewide educational campaign, and it's to build upon current state and local efforts on flu prevention and pandemic planning. It's important, the show, because it shows you not only how to protect yourself from getting the flu, but also how to care for others at home when they're ill. And the seasonal flu, as we all know, affects people every year, typically from December to April, peaking in February. A pandemic flu, though, is different. A pandemic flu occurs when a brand new virus is introduced. And the reason why that's a problem is because people have no immunity. They've never been exposed to it before, so basically they have no way to fight off this virus.
Big problem.
Big problem. What happens in a pandemic is this new virus is easily transmittable, and that's important. It has to be a virus that can easily be transmittable from person to person. Not like when we heard about the bird flu a couple of years back. There was a lot of talk back then about the pandemic, but what happened with the bird flu, it never became easily transmitted from person to person, which is why it never really panned out to be a pandemic. Correct. So the next influenza pandemic would occur when a new virus was introduced that's easily transmittable, and then it will affect widespread, large amount of people, potentially worldwide. So in addition to information on the show about how to care for someone at home with the flu, during a pandemic you might see other efforts taken, what we call social distancing efforts. That would include things like school closures and cancellations of public gatherings.
I see. So that is a pretty serious, let's hope we never have to know about it, but it will be shown in the video.
In the video we're about to watch, they will talk about the pandemic.
Okay, so that'll be great. The video will be coming up in a couple of minutes, and we were just talking before the show. If somebody does have the flu at home, I was saying for the person who's caring for them, put a mask on, but you corrected me, and you said...
Well, it's actually better for the ill person, the person who's ill, to be wearing the mask.
That's a very good hint.
That's to prevent the spread of the germs, basically.
Wonderful.
So, yeah.
That's
You'll
a good
see that
hint.
in the video,
I like that.
I'm sure,
so
as
it's going to be in the video.
The best way to prevent the flu, though, is to get your vaccination.
Oh, my God,
your
get
shot.
the vaccination.
Get
I've
your
had
flu shot
mine.
this
Did
year.
you have yours?
I had mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you can still get it. Here's the video, and we may be back after the video. Let's see how long it is. But so people can still get the flu shot.
Absolutely. Call the local boards of health. We certainly are available at City Hall to provide the flu shot to Lynn residents 18 years of age or older.
And I think they're going to give that number too. So...
There has been a lot of talk about influenza or the flu in recent years. This video is about seasonal flu, which affects people every year, and pandemic flu, which occurs when a new flu virus develops that spreads quickly and infects large numbers of people at the same time. Whether it's seasonal or pandemic flu, being prepared is important. In this short video, we will show you how to be prepared to care for a family member at home with the flu, reduce the risk that you and others in your home will get the flu, and know when to get medical advice. After watching the video, you can get more information about the topics discussed here from the Massachusetts Department of Public Health. Visit their website to print out materials to keep at home. Call the Massachusetts Department of Public Health at 617-983-2333 888-6800 or call your local health department to learn more. It is important that you talk to your doctor about how flu may affect you and your family based on your healthcare needs. This is particularly important if you or a family member has special health needs. Now, let's hear from Dr. Alfred DeMaria from the Massachusetts Department of Public Health.
The flu is caused by influenza viruses. In New England, flu season usually begins in December and lasts till about April. The most common symptoms of the flu are fever, tiredness, body aches, and a dry cough. Other illnesses that cause diarrhea and vomiting are sometimes mistaken as a type of flu, but these symptoms actually are not caused by the same germs that cause the flu. A common cold is also different from the flu. The most common symptoms of a cold are stuffy nose, sneezing, cough, and sore throat. Usually a cold is milder than the flu and comes on less suddenly than the flu does. Pandemic influenza is an outbreak caused by a new virus that spreads around the world. A pandemic flu virus can spread easily from person to person. Because the virus is new, everyone will be at greater risk of infection because they have no immunity to it. In the last 100 years, flu pandemics have occurred 3 times. We don't know when the next flu pandemic will happen, but we do know that we can be prepared to take care of people with flu at home, whether it's seasonal or pandemic flu.
Now, some flu basics. How does it spread? And how can it be prevented? Flu spreads easily from one person to another through droplets from the mouth, throat, nose, and lungs. When an infected person coughs or sneezes, droplets move through the air and can land in the mouth, eye, or nose of people nearby. People can also become infected by touching something that has the flu virus on it, like a telephone or doorknob, and then touching their mouth, nose, or eye. You can infect others one day before getting flu symptoms and up to 5 to 7 days after feeling sick. This means you can pass on the flu to someone else before you know you are sick. Next, we're going to talk about different ways to reduce the risk of getting and spreading the flu. Here's Dr. DeMaria.
How can you avoid getting seasonal flu? The best way is to get the flu vaccine. Flu viruses change slightly from year to year, so it's important to get vaccinated every year. Despite what you may have heard, getting a flu vaccine does not give you the flu or any other type of illness. Getting the vaccine is important for just about everybody. For certain groups, it is especially important. The elderly, young children, people with chronic illness, and pregnant women are all at higher risk from the flu. And caregivers of people in these groups should get vaccinated every year as well. Unfortunately, the vaccine for seasonal flu does not protect against pandemic flu. Currently, there's no vaccine for pandemic flu, but scientists are working on developing one. Because pandemic flu is a completely new form of the virus, it will take time for the right vaccine to be made after a pandemic flu virus is identified.
Even in the absence of a vaccine, however, there are other very important things that you can do to protect yourself and others. Hand washing is the best way to prevent the spread of all germs, including the flu. Wash your hands often, especially before preparing or eating food, after going to the bathroom or changing a diaper, and before and after tending to someone who is sick. Teach your children how and when to wash their hands as well. Here's the right way to wash your hands. First, wet your hands with warm running water and put soap on them. Rub your hands together to make a lather. Scrub all parts of your hands. Continue rubbing your hands for 15 to 20 seconds. Rinse your hands under the running water. Suggest that someone who is sick use a separate towel or paper towels to dry his or her hands. Used paper towels should be thrown away right after use. If soap and water aren't available, use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer like Purell or a store brand to use hand sanitizer. Apply the sanitizer to the palm of one hand and rub it over all surfaces of your hands and fingers until they are dry. Because hand sanitizer may contain alcohol, young children should be supervised when using it. Remember to store it out of the reach of children. There are things you can do while coughing or sneezing to limit the spread of flu to others. This is sometimes called cough and sneeze etiquette and includes these actions. Use a tissue to cover your mouth or nose when you cough or sneeze. Throw the tissue away right after you use it. Clean your hands after you cough or sneeze. If you can't use a tissue, cough or sneeze into your sleeve, not your hands. If you or a family member is sick, it's important to keep your home as clean as possible so that other people in the house don't become sick. Wash dishes and laundry with hot water and soap. Use a dishwasher if one is available. Clean surfaces touched by the sick person with a household disinfectant. Another way to avoid spreading the flu to others is to stay at home if you are sick. Don't allow visitors while people are sick in your home. And the person who is sick should be in a separate room if possible and stay away from others until symptoms go away. Now we're going to talk about how to care for family members with the flu at home and how to know when you should get medical advice or treatment. Much of the care you provide for family members who are sick with seasonal flu will be the same if they are sick with pandemic flu. Start by setting up a sick person's room the right way. Place a wastebasket lined with a plastic bag next to the bed. Keep fresh water next to the bed. The sick person may have chills at times and other times feel very warm. Keep light blankets available so he or she may remove or add blankets as needed. Dress young children in loose-fitting, comfortable pajamas that can be layered for more or less warmth. Have note paper and a pen on hand to keep track of symptoms, medications given, and body temperature. Many people wonder whether they should use gloves or masks when taking care of someone with the flu at home. Let's hear from Dr. DeMaria.
You may want to use disposable gloves when touching body fluids, like blood, spit, and waste of a person who is sick. Throw the gloves away right after using them and wash your hands. Many people ask about wearing face masks to cover their mouth and nose. Most healthy people do not need face masks during seasonal flu or pandemic flu. However, anyone with flu-like symptoms, such as fever and cough, should put on a face mask and wash their hands before having close contact with infants, the elderly, or people who have serious illnesses. These precautions are especially important for women who are breastfeeding infants. A face mask will not give complete protection from the flu. That is why it's important to wash your hands often and cover your cough and sneezes with a disposable tissue, or if you don't have one handy, your sleeve. If a pandemic occurs, listen to the most up-to-date information from health officials about face masks and other matters. Health officials may suggest avoiding crowds and gatherings during a pandemic.
Next, we're going to hear some specifics from Dr. Lisa Stone from the Massachusetts Department of Public Health about taking care of someone who is sick.
Fever is the most common symptom of the flu. Fever helps the body fight infection and usually is not harmful. To find out if someone has a fever, it's important that you take his or her temperature correctly. There are 4 main ways of taking a temperature. For children younger than 3 years old, use a rectal digital thermometer to get the most accurate reading. For children between 3 and 5 years old, take a rectal, ear, or armpit temperature. And for children age 5 or older and for adults, taking an oral temperature by mouth is most accurate. A temperature can also be taken by ear or armpit. There are several basic steps to taking a temperature correctly. No matter what method you use, clean the thermometer with soap and water before and after each use. Insert the thermometer according to the manufacturer's instructions. If you're taking the temperature by mouth, place the thermometer under the person's tongue.